Incredibly, Blackburn Rovers have scored just 2 goals at the last 8 league games, and to make matters worse, big bad boy Burton Diaz was removed in the second half with an injury. Where in the heck is our next goal going to come from? As of course we digest the West Brom Rovers game, and it's coming at ya next! Folks, back once again with another match review, looking back at Blackburn Rovers 0-0 in a display against West Brom at the Hawthorns, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We're going to know here, boys, under one Rooski. Goodness gracious me, when on earth are we going to get a goal? Of course, Blackburn Rovers, another goalless affair, which makes it 1, 2, 3, 4 games without a goal now for Blackburn Rovers, as our season starts to unravel right in front of our own eyes. We'll take a look at what went down, of course, at the Hawthorns in a minute. Of course, a big shout out to my VIPs. They're the patrons, guys. Thank you for your love, of course, behind the scenes. You make matters a little bit brighter, of course, with your support behind the scenes. But anyway, let's jump at the deep end. Recap the result, of course, 0-0 it was at the Hawthorns. In a game which, to be honest with you, we've got to look at this. There's 2 points dropped in my eyes. I thought coming into this game, there was a chance for us to win this game. West Brom coming to on the back of 0 form themselves. Rovers, though, failed to take their chance. We had a couple of good chances to snatch a win, but we failed to do those in the end. And again, it just makes another game without a goal. And to be honest with you, we have got a bit of a problem on our hands going forward. However, if we turn the clock back to the start of the season, of course, looking forward to the game at the Hawthorns, we probably would have taken a point. So let's not be too down in the dumps. Anyway, of course, we just need to bounce back and bounce back quick, because right around the corner we have a whole host of dangerously bad-looking games coming at you with Sheffield United away, QPR at home, and Fulham away as well. So we've got 3 of the next 4, which are absolute 6-pointers in the race for promotion if we can get any points. I did say if we could scoop out 9 in the month of February, that would be absolutely incredible. Right now we've just got the 1 point so far from a tricky month of February. So pretty awful for Rovers. West Brom was a chance to rectify that, but of course now attention turns to Millwall, and hopefully we can get back to winning ways at home against a Millwall side that's not in that front at the minute race for promotion. Anyways, take a look, of course, the stats then, Shia, of course, coming at you. Of course, 0-0 in the end, 54% possession for West Brom, 46% possession for Rovers, 13 shots as well for the hosts on this one, 10 for Rovers, 6 of them off target as well. We had 4 off target. They had, of course, we had 3 corners. They had 3 corners. We had 7, and they were found offside. Just the ones we had 3 offsides as well. We had a ball in the back of the net, so did they, and of course both of those were ruled out. Anyways, take a look at, of course, some deeper lining stats. Of course, these were the master plan there. Of course, Rovers 7-3 on the corners. Aerial duels was won by Rovers, 58 of them compared to the 54 from the host there. 13 tackles to their 11, and we had more clearances as well. Again, that's of course both in the first and second half. They had 2 big chances in West Brom, and they missed both of them. They had 9 shots inside the box compared to our 6. Let's take a look at, of course, the first half, which I think was pro West Brom. They had the better chance of 54% possession in the first half for West Brom, 5 shots as well compared to our 2. We had 2 corners to their 1. Again, 1 big chance in the first half of them. Probably 1 big chance in the second half as well. And again, they had more passes than we do. Basically, that was when they had their chance to basically put the game to bed, but they didn't. Second half, I think, was more Rovers. Indeed, as you see here, more still possession going in favour with West Brom. We had 45% possession. Again, the shots was equalled. They had, again, big chance for them, of course. And we had more corners as well. More dribbles and more clearances at the end of the day. But ultimately, we just failed to take any real chances. Of course, there was a stonewalling chance for Gallagher for sure in the second half. It went right through his legs. An absolute shit show. Any striker who was worth his weight in gold would have put that in the back of the bins, no questions. I think Buckaroo had a chance as well. Diaz was lively, but of course picked up an injury in the second half, which could cost us a major, which will cause us a major headache moving forward to Millwall if he's fit and raring. Is the injury caused because of the amount of games he's been playing, or was it a freak accident? And hopefully, how long is it? Is it just a weekly thing? Well, is it something that will digest game by game, or is he going to be out for at least 2 or 3 weeks? Who knows? So A long old week ahead for Rovers as we look forward to kick off for Millwall at Ewood Park. But of course, the question marks will be who will be leading the charge for Rovers. It's going to be probably Sam Gallagher, but and he did do all right. Remember that he did do okay when he was sole man against Middlesbrough. He got the ball in the back of the net when, of course, Diaz was out living the high life in Santiago. He hasn't been the same player in 2022 as Diaz. I don't think he's got a goal in 2022, has he? I think the last goal was against Barnsley. He got 65-minute mark on that badger. I don't think he's scored since. So he's hit a bit of a drought, as have Rovers, of course, in 2022. Let's take a look, of course, at the starting lineups and start with West Brom. Sam Johnson between sticks. Good goalkeeper there, ranked, of course, as high as $8 million there. Of course, Clark at the back, Ajayi, Townsend on the left-hand side, Furlong at right back. We have Mowat, of course, £11 million rated midfielder that picked up for free. Goodness gracious me. Malumbi, of course, coming in for Livermore. Callum Robson on the right-hand side. Callum Grant on the left. Reach, of course, in the middle with Andy Carroll, of course, the veteran striker, who was quite lively. I give him that. I think we could do with somebody of his calibre right here, right now, a Danny Graham sort of player. Of course, from the bench, we saw Taylor Gardner-Hickman coming on, youngster. Not much to known about him. Grady Dianganga, of course, £8 million rated forward as well, who came on to little or no avail. Thank heavens for that. Meanwhile, Rovers, of course, Kaminsky between six, signed a new deal. Happy days. Scotty Wharton, of course, that value should be shooting up. 24 years of age. He looks the real bloody deal. Of course, Van Heck as well, alongside Nyambi at centre-back. 3 of those at centre-back. Travis, of course, Rothwell. Rankin, who was absolutely shocking in my eyes. Giles as well, hasn't really delivered since his arrival. Buckaroo, of course, maybe needs a rest. Gallagher and Diaz up top. So, yeah, criminally bad today, I thought, Rovers. And, of course, the substitutions, Johnson, Dolan and Kadra, of course, tried to cause some problems from the bench. But, again, to little or no avail. Sailor, of course, what have we got going on? Of course, the match ratings there. Of course, the bottom graph there shows where all the action zones were, to be honest with you. There was one red card, a yellow card in the first half. That went to Costello, who for me got to 6.8. I don't even know what game they were watching. Who else was pretty shockingly bad? I thought Gallagher was pretty shockingly bad. I do appreciate the back three tonight. Of course, Nyambi coming in there and deputising in the place of Lenihan, who of course was supposed to be deputised by Ayala, who pulled up an injury before the game. So I'm not too sure how long that's going to be a problem. But Nyambi did a stellar job. So for me, we should already know what at least the back three or back three, including the goalkeeper, will look like for Millwall. It should be Wharton, Van Heck, and Lenihan returning. And of course, Nyambi should go right into that right back slot. Of course, Rankin Costello is rusty as can be. I'm not saying there's not a player in there. There's just a player that's out of shape, out of whack, out of form, and needs minutes. But should we be playing it at right back? It's not his bread and butter spot. We should be playing probably more further forward as a winger, as a midfielder. I don't think playing him as a wing back, full back, whatever the fuck you call him, left wing, right wing back, whatever the heck it is. I don't think that's giving him any favours. Giles, of course, again, just flattering to deceive at the moment. Gets the ball, gets the crosses, but all the crosses, 9 out of 10 of them, are getting blocked. So it's pretty woeful. Sam Gallagher was shockingly bad today. Buckley was involved. He showed some fight. Of course, Joe Rothwell did, despite lacking going forward, he did give 100% in defensive core there. So I do appreciate his efforts trying to keep us in this game. Take a look at the shot grid then, shall we? Of course, Rovers represented by the blue square, the blue lines. Of course, West Brom in the orange. Of course, Reach had 3 shots. So did Carroll. Furlong with a couple as well. As for Rovers, Buckley had 3, of course, most from him. Wharton with a couple. Kadra as well from the substitutes bench, with Gallagher just the 1. And he did have 1 sitter that he should have tapped in to make it a game over, but unfortunately no. Let's take a look at the heat maps then, shall we? Of course, this is West Brom. Again, a lot of blazer grass covered by West Brom. Rovers sporadic as we do. But there just seems to be a bit of a disconnect at the minute with Rovers. We used to have that sort of heat map for us, game in, game out, at the early part of the season, and it was good enough. Have we been found out again? What about plan B for Rovers? Can't we mix it up a little bit? We seem to be just, no matter what happens, we just keep to our guns and think the back three, the 3-5-2 or whatever you call it, is gonna suddenly burst into life. I think we should be mixing up a little bit. Let's make it the next game a 4-3-2 or 4-3-3 or something like that. Just change it up a little bit. Everybody knows how we play, how we operate, and stuff like that. Yes, the back three is good. It is, and it does keep us in games, but we're just starved with creativity. We're starved with opportunity, and I honestly don't know when our next goal is going to come from, let alone our next win. But regardless of what I've had to say, here's what Tony Mowbray had to say about the match, of course, after the final whistle.
We're better with the ball than we showed first half, and I think we showed second half. We were, it was more like our team. It was more threatening on the opposition goal, more breaking away, more picking the right pass, heading the free headers to the yellow shirt, and we had more control and pushed them back, whereas we were a bit submissive and just clearing the ball in first half. We never really felt hugely under threat with the men behind the ball that we had in the first half, but second half we were much more fluent, and the lads are very disappointed that we didn't score a goal and win the football match.
Yeah, just with that little run of the ball, you could have scored a couple in that second half, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. And we probably deserved to, I would have to say, but and yet they could have nicked it right at the end. I think it was Dolan cleared one off the line, so listen, it's okay. They've just one or two of them there was saying, listen, a few years ago we'd have been delighted to come to West Brom and pick up a point, and for them to be so disappointed not to get 3 tonight is showing where the progress is really. So we have to put it in the bag, and then we have to try and beat Millwall at home on Saturday, and 3 points is massive now for every game. There's so many teams congregating around the top 6, down to us 8th, 9th, 10th, they're all only a few points away, and so 3 points are massive whenever they come along, and so we have to focus in, recover now and get ready for Millwall.
Did you just sense you one deflection, one off someone's backside away from getting back and goal scoring?
Yeah, I think so. And it looked like that today. And I was talking to John Buckley there before coming out. He shimmied a couple of times. He should have had a shot. He shimmied. He could have had a shot. He shimmied again. And them are the ones that against us in the past have ricocheted and gone in the opposite corner and they trickled in. We needed one of them really today, I think. I think Brereton's offside goal was so marginal. I haven't seen it back, and yet, initially off the bench, watching it on the laptop, they thought it was onside. But whether Sky have said it was offside, I don't know. But no, there were little fine margins. But I felt as if we were the team that were going to score and win the football match, and we have to accept we didn't. We take a point, we put it in the bag, and we move on to Saturday.
You had to change your plan quite late tonight, didn't you?
God, yeah. Daniel felt something in training yesterday, and yet, I knew Andy Carroll was going to play. I think it was, if anything, it might have been a better move for us to play Daniel Ayala in this game. With total respect to Darrell Lenihan, who's been amazing for our football team. The power and the strength of Andy Carroll was going to be a concern, and yet I thought we dealt with him pretty well. I thought we got a lot of first contacts and balls coming in the box, and yeah, okay, so it disrupted, of course. So Ryan would have played higher up, he'd have played right wing back, and we moved him inside one. My thought patterns, Carlin Grant is pretty mobile and direct and a good striker, and Ryan's speed and mobility would have helped the team, and so it wasn't a disaster for us. It was something that you have to cope with, and that's why you have a squad of players. Good for Rankin Costello to get 70 odd minutes as well, and yeah, it was a good clean sheet. We were just frustrated that we never nicked a goal, because I think we probably deserved 2 second half.
Meanwhile, what's been said on social media? Let's take a little look then, shall we? Of course, one of the mafiosos was, of course, vocal, of course. He said a point away against a good team, just need to find the finishing touches again, which we have been missing a lot lately. Ronald Farrell said a good team, they lost 4 of the last 5 and cannot score for Toffee too bad. We can't either. 2 goals in 8 games is simply appalling. And we're only 1 in 6. There's still a decent side and are in and around the playoffs, so a point on the road is a decent result. That's those two had a bit of back and forth there. We'll skip forward that. Matthew Stanger said, while they've lost momentum in the promotion race, you can't question Blackburn's effort, and when you consider the average age of the team that finished the match was only 23.5 with 5 academy graduates involved, it is a brilliant season. It is, but it's still painful to see us collapse such as this. Chris Marr said, I think you could give the man of the match award to any one of Ryan Nyambe, Scotty Wharton or John Paul Van Heck. All 3 very excellent throughout, very, very good. Special mention to Buckley for a good shift after a rough couple of games too. Jamie Tobias Amos, good account of ourselves there, Rovers. Before that season started, we would have taken that superb heroics from Tyrese Dolan at the end. What a clearance. Meanwhile, Northern Rovers said West Brom were awful. We did well in the second half, but never really looked like scoring. Too many wrong decisions on the final third. Nyambe, my man of the match, closely followed by Wharton. Ben the Boss Jackson. Full-time, Rovers nil, West Brom nil, a game of frustration, offsides, disallowed goals, a typical Rovers fashion of not creating chances up top. Worrying that Brereton went off injured, the team is badly struggling, what do we do now? Surely emergency loan? MealRedRovers.com said, final thoughts, a shout out to all defenders and Thomas Kaminski tonight, especially after the late dropout of Ayala. The Lennon absence was always going to make things harder for us, and then Ayala's absence was a hammer blow. Scotty Wharton should have arguably had a brace. Meanwhile, Emma, how many times am I going to come away from a game saying it was frustrating? We were the better team tonight and should have taken our chances. We will take that point though. Meanwhile, David Robertson had a much better second half. Clean sheet and a point on the road. All positives. Brereton injury and the continuing lack of goals are a real worry. Salsuki said the referee wasn't awful. No shock. A touch more quality in the final third and we'd have won that. Ball isn't breaking for us in the box at the moment and we're making the wrong decisions. Miscontrolling every time we get in good positions. A disappointing, nothing more than a frustrating night. Barnes, or Hannah Barnes said, I think we'd probably just got away with a day like robbery. How do we keep getting so many injuries? What's going on? Let's hope Diaz wasn't serious. Otherwise, it's bye-bye any sort of reasonable finish. James Green said, not a bad point. West Brom are really tight at the back, but Galley could have won it. We need a win against Millwall, as we could be in trouble against QPR, Sheffield United and Fulham. Dolan saved us the game with that clearance. Pickering and Lennon back next game with Giles up the pitch. Maybe, yeah, maybe that's what we need. Maybe agree, back three, Okay, well, we're going to end it there on those guys because they're having a right old back and forth. Anyway, let's kick it off forward then. Take a look at what else went on. Of course, out in the Championship this weekend. Of course, we put a bookend on it. Of course, Huddersfield nil, Sheffield United nil. Of course, that's a point in the bag for them. So basically, the distance between Huddersfield, Sheffield United, and ourselves is the same. Millwall 2-1 winners over Cardiff. Hull City did lose to Fulham. Of course, Reading lost to Coventry and on the verge of sacking their manager. Nottingham Forest 2, Stoke City again. The point between the Forest and Rovers is exactly the same. Preston, of course, are 1-0 winners over Peterborough. Bournemouth did get, of course, the advantage of that one. So Middlesbrough also closing in on us as well. Birmingham 3-0 against Luton Town. Barnsley did beat QPR, did us a monstrous favour, and Swansea picked a 3-1 win over Bristol City. Take a look, of course, the next games coming at you. I've just got to check on that. Of course, this is the table as it stands. Rovers remain in third, of course. 2 points clear of QPR. They've got 2 games in hand on us though. 4 points are clear of Huddersfield, and of course West Brom. We could be technically down at 5th very, very soon. Meanwhile, West Brom remain in 8th, and we've played 1 game more than them as well. Take a look, of course, what's going on midweek. Coventry will go to Cardiff. Sheffield United, of course, will go Hull City. We're all Hull City on that game. Then Millwall against QPR. We're all Millwall on that one. Of course, Peterborough against Reading. We're all Peterborough on that one. Let's take a look at the next games. Of course, the weekend action. Bournemouth go to Forest. That's, of course, a game that could go either way. Same could be said for Fulham against Huddersfield. QPR will host Hull City, and of course we'll fancy the chances on that one. Coventry against Barnsley, Sheffield United against Swansea, difficult game for them as well. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough go to Bristol City. That's awkward. Luton Town will take on West Brom at the Hawthorns at Kenilworth Road. Preston against Reading, Stoke against Birmingham, Durham against Peterborough, Cardiff against Blackpool, and Rovers will take on Millwall again. A lot of games cancel each other out on that one. Of course, QPR will fancy their chances, and Middlesbrough will probably fancy their chances as well. Of course, is that it? I think that's all I've got for you there, folks. Be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, of course. I will digest, lie down, of course, take a bit long, hard breather, and hopefully we'll be bouncing back against Millwall come weekend. But until then, smash the thumbs up, smash the subscribe, of course. Check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on Patreon. Also, there should be some other content, hopefully, on the channel. Fan vlog, fan reaction, that kind of stuff. Make sure you check it out. But until then, dudes, we're done for now.